Let's do it. All right, everybody. Welcome live from ArcherShaw Temple in Puerto Vallarta. Welcome to Merkaba Temple online. Take a breath with me. Just once. Inhale. And exhale. Letting yourself arrive. Not into a performance and not into an idea, but into your body. Welcome, Ben. I see that you're here. We're so glad that you're here. Merkaba Temple is an interspiritual sanctuary. You're welcome here whether you walk with Christ, Krishna, Buddha, Shiva, the Divine Mother, the Earth, or your ancestors, or simply the quiet intelligence within your own heart. And wherever you are joining us from today, across cities, countries, or seasons of your life, you are in the right place. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to be certain. You don't have to have anything figured out. You just have to arrive. Welcome, Mom. Today is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everyone. A day that for many represents resurrection, renewal, and return. But what we're stepping into today is not just a story about something that happened. It's an invitation into something that is happening right here, right now. Because resurrection is not just something to believe in, it's something to live. So wherever you are this morning, just begin here with breath, with presence, letting the body soften and the nervous system settle. Let whatever you've been carrying this week set down, even just a little. And if you feel it, drop a word into the chat about how you are arriving here today. We are so glad you all are here. Welcome home. Allah, welcome. So let's formally open the energetic gateway of today's service with the Adi mantra. The Adi mantra is a mantra of humble invocation. It means I bow to the infinite wisdom, the divine teacher within and without, the great guru that lives in all beings. This mantra, it's not something you have to understand. It's something that you allow, a softening, a bow, a return. As we chant, let it awaken the remembrance that you are not doing this alone, that there is an intelligence guiding your life, breathing you, walking with you, even when you can't feel it. So just stay with your breath. Let the body be simple. No performance, no pressure. We'll take 3 deep breaths together. And on the 4th breath, we'll chant Ong Namo Gurudev Namo together 3 times. If you know it, join us. And if you're new, you can listen and enter when you are ready. Begin by rubbing our hands together, activating the left and right hemispheres of the brain, igniting that inner fire. Pause, bringing the thumbs to heart center, taking a deep breath in, and release. Another deep breath in, and release. Deep breath in, and release. Receive the breath to begin. Hong Namo Gurudev Namo. Hong Divine light, in us, through us, and as us, we arrive. Not as those who have figured it out, but as those who are willing to be here.
On this day of resurrection, we do not come to remember a story. We come to meet what is alive now. Where something in us has been performing, soften it. Where something in us has been hiding, reveal it. Where something in us has been waiting, call it forward. Give us the courage to let what is not true fall away. Not through force, not through effort, but through honesty. Teach us the deeper meaning of the cross, not as symbol, but as surrender. The place where we stop protecting what was never real and trust that what is real cannot be lost. And as we stand in this threshold between what has been and what is becoming, steady us, so that we do not turn away when truth arrives differently than how we expected, so that we do not grasp for what is familiar when something deeper in us is being born. Anchor us in a presence that does not leave, a devotion that does not depend on circumstances, and a knowing that does not require permission. And in the Spirit of Christ, the living embodiment of what is possible in a human life, remind us that what we are seeking is not separate from us. Let this service move through the body, not just the mind. Let it become something lived, not simply understood. We place this moment, this community, and this field into your care. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Guru Om. Amen.
Amen.
Aho.
Aho.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is. All right, everyone, let's move into mantra. Our mantra today is one that you're familiar with. It's Soham, Shivo'ham. The words can be found in the chat. It means I am that. I am the divine itself. Now, the reason we're working with this particular mantra today is because of what this day represents. Easter is often spoken about as something that happened, a resurrection, a return. But what we're exploring today is that the return is not something to wait for. It's something to recognize, not out there and not later, but right here. And this mantra collapses that distance. It doesn't ask you to reach for God. It reminds you that there is no separation. So instead of seeking, instead of striving, just breathe. Let the sound do the work. No effort, no performance. Stay with the breath, stay with the repetition, and let it bring you back to center. If you know it, please sing with us. And if you don't, just listen and enter when you are ready. Here we go.
Soham Shivo'ham 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 Soham Soham Shivoham Soham Shivoham Soham Shivoham Soham Shivoham.
Just take a breath and let that land. Notice what has shifted, even slightly. And from this place, not reaching, not seeking, just simply here, we open ourselves to receive. At Merkaba Temple, we honor many sacred paths, and we also acknowledge the presence of our Guru, Guru Nityananda of Ganeshpuri, not as a figure to believe in, but as a living current of truth, a presence that doesn't add anything to you, but reveals what is already there. So as you listen, don't just listen with your mind, listen with the part of you that already knows. Let it meet you where you are and show you what is true. Sapphire will now lead Guru's transmission. Sapphire, the floor is yours.
Children, you wait for what is already here. You speak of return as though truth has left you. Truth does not leave, you do. You move into thought, into performance, into delay, and then call it waiting. What you are seeking is not in the future, it is here. In the moment you have been avoiding. In the truth you already see. The return is not an event. It is recognition. And recognition requires only one thing, that you stop moving away. So remain. Remain when it is uncomfortable. Remain when it is unclear. Do not rebuild what is falling. Let what is not true die. And what remains will not need to be protected. It will be what you are. This is the resurrection. Not something coming back, but something revealed that was never gone. So stop waiting. Stand in what is here. Om Guru Om. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Thank you, Sapphire.
Thank you, Sapphire. So just take a breath and let that land. There's no need to analyze it, no need to figure anything out. If something moved in you, a word, a feeling, a recognition, just notice it. And if you feel like it, drop it into the chat. Let's stay connected in this service together. Because what we're in right now is not something to understand, it's something to experience. And music has a way of carrying us deeper into that without needing to explain it. So don't just listen, receive it. Let it meet you exactly where you are. Roy is going to rock us out today with some Easter vocals.
Thanks, Chris. Bones sinking like stones, all that we fought for. Homes, places we've grown, all of us are done for. And we live in a beautiful world. Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. We live in a beautiful world. Bones sinking like stones, all that we fought for. Homes, places we've grown, all of us are done for. And we live in a beautiful world. Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. We live in a beautiful world. And we live in a beautiful world. Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. We live in a beautiful world. Oh, all that I know, there's nothing here to run from. 'Cause yeah, everybody here's got somebody to lean on.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Boy, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Something opened in you, a feeling, a memory, a recognition. Just notice that. Notice that. So beautiful. All right. Welcome. There's a good shot of everyone that's here today. All right, here we go. We are moving into now is not separate from what you just experienced. It's continuation. Today is Easter, a day that has been spoken about in many ways, but at its core points to something very real. Not just resurrection as an idea, but the return of what is true. And what we're exploring today is that this return is not something to wait for, and it's not something to step into. Aeon is going to guide us there, not as a concept, but through lived experience, through a story that moves through the cross, through surrender, and into something real on the other side. My love, the temple is yours.
Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. I was blessed with the opportunity to do the Easter teaching, so this is super exciting. I just want to say welcome to everyone who's here. Welcome, Nelson. I believe it's your first time. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us today. What I would like to do is take a moment to take a breath with me. Take a deep inhale and release. We love to breathe here in the Merkaba Temple. It allows us to land fully in our bodies, to be present for the message and for each other. Now, some of you already know what happened to me last Easter. You may have heard parts of it, and you've been with me definitely here on the other side of it. But I want to go back into it today, not to revisit it, but because I've been sitting with something I haven't shown you yet, a layer I wasn't ready to name until now. Because what happened to me in Georgia last Easter was not my story. It is a story older than time. It is in many ways the story. And I want to build something with you today so that by the time we arrive back at that field, you feel the full weight of what was actually happening there. So let me ask you something. How many of you at some point in the last few years have had this feeling, subtle, persistent, hard to name, that something in the world is off? Not wrong in one specific area, but a deeper sense that the world you're moving through doesn't quite match the world you know should be possible. Most of us have felt it, and most of us have done what people do when they can't name something. We got busy, we performed, we made our lives look from the outside like everything was moving in the right direction. But inside, something was asking a question we weren't quite ready to answer. People are exhausted by performing a version of their lives that doesn't feel true. People are hungry for something that is real. People are sitting inside systems that were built to serve human transformation and instead serve their own continuation. And here's what I want to say about that feeling. That feeling is not pathology. That feeling is not a weakness. That feeling is prophetic. Now I want to take you back 2,000 years ago, a little over 2,000 years ago. Not as a history lesson, but because when you really see the world Jesus walked into, you will stop feeling like your moment in history is unprecedented. The Roman Empire was one of the most sophisticated administrative machines the ancient world had ever produced. By almost every external measure, it was working. The empire was stable, order was maintained. But here's what that stability cost. Most people were not thriving. They were surviving. Taxation was extraction. Inequality was a feature, not a bug. It kept concentrated power where it wanted to stay. And the religious system, which you might assume should have been a counterweight to all of this, was not separate from the empire. It was deeply entangled in it. And access to God was mediated through a system that required payment, proximity, the right credentials. The institution that was supposed to connect people to the divine had become a gatekeeper to it. The people at the margins of Jesus' ministry, the lepers, the poor, the outcasts, the ritually unclean, were not people who had rejected religion. They were the people who religion had rejected. They had gone to the door. The door was closed. Not out of cruelty, because the system had protocols, because the institution had its reasons, and they felt justified in those reasons. Now, when you step back, it kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Into that world walked a man from Galilee with no credentials, no higher education, no political backing, no resources, but yet he had a message so threatening to the existing order that within 3 years, the most powerful empire in the world on earth decided that this one man needed to die. And that's not a minor detail. That is the entire story, because the core of his teaching was this: you do not need a middleman to God. The kingdom of God is not behind a gate someone else controls. It is not something you earn, he said. And he said it directly in Luke: the kingdom of God is within you. And he wasn't speaking to the powerful. He wasn't looking at everyone the system had already told no. He was looking at everyone the system had already told no and said, what you are looking for is already inside of you. Everything, all of it. No institution has the authority to tell you otherwise. And then he demonstrated it. Healing on the Sabbath, eating with sinners, forgiving sins, overturning the money changers, not to be provocative, but to show what it looks like when someone lives outside the system's permission. And the system could not tolerate it. So they arrested him. They tried him. They executed him. And then something happened that the execution was supposed to prevent. He came back. Now, however you hold that, whether you believe it in the literal bodily resurrection, or whether what you can say is that something happened after his death that no empire, no institution, no execution could contain, the result was the same. The man they silenced became the most proliferated teaching in human history. The movement they tried to bury grew, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. The voice they executed kept speaking through the people. If that is not resurrection, I don't know what is. The force of what he carried was so true, so aligned with something fundamental in all human beings that death could not hold it. That is the return. And it didn't require anyone else's permission. Now, this is where I think we most often miss the point. The resurrection story is not primarily about what happens after you die. It is a story about what becomes possible when you are willing to let what is not true about you die. Every wisdom tradition on earth has a version of this pattern. The mystics call it the dark night of the soul. The psychologists call it ego death. The recovering call it hitting rock bottom. The structure is always the same. Something has to die before something new can live. And what it usually asks for is the part of you that has been running the show, the performed self. Got to look a certain way for the peeps, you know. The protected self. Oh, you're not safe. The self that has been managing your image and hedging your bets and staying just comfortable enough that you never had to fully reckon with your truth. That is what the cross is about. Not a theological abstraction, but the part of you that has to die so that something real can live. And I know this is true because I know this is true because I lived it myself last Easter in Georgia alone. So, my testimony. So I had made a decision, one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, and that I actually needed help, real help. The kind that requires you to admit clearly and without softening that you cannot do this part alone. So I got on a plane, I showed up, and I was ready. or at least as ready as you can be when every nerve in your body is telling you to turn around, to not show up for your flight. And the treatment center that I flew to Georgia for turned me away on Easter Sunday. Now, I'm not going to tell you that didn't hurt because it devastated me. Not because I hadn't been told no before, but because I had spent everything I had, emotionally, spiritually, logistically, to get to the door of that treatment center. And it closed in my face with the kind of bureaucratic efficiency that doesn't see the person on the other side of it. Just the process, the protocol, just the reason they had to say no. So I did what I could. I kept moving, church to church, nonprofit to nonprofit, knocking on every door that was supposed to represent help, compassion, the values of Easter. And what I found almost without exception was one of two things: rejection or bureaucracy, which is rejection in better clothes. So I want you to sit with that irony for just a moment, not out of bitterness, but because it is almost too precise to be coincidental. On the holiest day of the Christian calendar, I couldn't find a single institution built in that tradition's name that had room for me. By nightfall, I had no money, no room, and nowhere to go. So I found a park. Found an open field because it felt safer to be able to see from all sides of me. And I sat down in it and I made peace, or some sort of peace, with the idea that this was where I was sleeping. And in that moment, something shifted. Not hope quite yet, but it was something quieter than hope, a kind of surrender. Not the giving up kind of surrender, but the letting go kind. The kind that comes when you have exhausted every performance, every managed version of yourself, and you finally just stop and surrender. I was a man sitting in a field in Georgia on Easter night with nowhere to go. And for the first time in a long time, that was just the truth. No spin, no story, just that. It was what it was. And in that stripped down, terrifying, honest moment, something else became possible. Around 10 o'clock that night, my phone rang, and it was Christopher. And he didn't know exactly where I was. He just knew something was wrong. And when I answered, he didn't panic. He didn't lecture me. He didn't ask me to explain myself. He just asked me, "Where are you right now?" And I told him. And he said, "My brothers only sleep in the Amazon jungle or on the top of mountains. I'll get you a room." And that felt incredible. Like in that moment, I felt so loved and protected, and the grace landed on me. And that was it. No sermon, no conditions, no protocol, but let me help you. Grace. And I've thought about that moment many times since, because it changed my life, because it is the most precise definition of grace I have ever experienced. Not grace as concept, but grace as lived reality. Grace doesn't always descend in a blaze of glory. It doesn't always arrive with signs of wonder. Sometimes it simply arrives by a phone call at 10 o'clock. And sometimes that is the thing that makes the resurrection possible. Because what Christopher did that night, showing up without requiring me to be different, meeting me exactly where I was, that is what Jesus did. For the leper at the edge of the crowd, for the woman at the wall, for the man in the graveyard who had been chained and cast out and given up on. He didn't ask them to clean themselves up before he came to them. He came to them first, and the encounter itself was the transformation. So I got to the hotel room, I did a little ritual shower, and then I did something I hadn't planned, something that kind of arose from a place I can only describe as instinct or necessity. I held a ritual, just me, in a hotel room in Georgia, with almost nothing but a suitcase. And in that ritual, I made a decision I had been circling for 20 years without allowing it to fully land in my life. I let the old version of me die. Not the version of me I performed for other people. That one had already been stripped away in the field. I mean something even deeper. The version that had been managing, hiding, performing, avoiding, numbing, all of it. That version that had constructed an entire identity around appearing to be further along than he actually was. I had to admit where I was, and I had to be there. And I grieved that version of myself. I said goodbye to him. Yet I thanked him for what he had tried to do, because he was trying in his own broken, misdirected, distorted, terrified way to protect me. He just didn't know any other way. And I told him he could rest now, and I went to sleep. That is what the cross is. It's not a cosmic legal transaction. The cross is the moment you stop fighting to preserve what is not true about you, and you trust, with nothing left to trust except the trust itself. That is what is real, and you cannot die. And the crazy thing is, the next day was my birthday. The day after Easter, I woke up, and something was different. I want to be precise about this because I think we spiritualize resurrection in a way that makes it abstract and therefore safe and therefore not quite real. But the resurrection accounts in the Gospels are insistently, almost stubbornly, a bodily experience. Thomas puts his fingers in the wounds. Mary recognizes Jesus by the way he says her name, and the disciples on the road to Emmaus recognize him in the breaking of bread. He eats fish on the beach with his friends. The resurrection is not a ghost story, it is a body story. And I know why they wrote it that way, because what I experienced that morning was bodily. I got a latte and I cried. Not from sadness, I cried because it tasted like I had never tasted anything in my entire life. Food was different, the air was different, the quality of light was different, even the colors all around me themselves. They were like seeing them for the first time as if I were a child. And I had almost missed it. That is what the resurrection restores. Not just hope for the future, but the capacity to actually be here, now, fully. Later that morning, I found a tree, because I loved to spend a lot of time in the park those 3 days. It was massive, old, the kind of tree that has been standing through storms and droughts and generations, and is still standing, unagitated by anything happening around it. I sat under that tree, and for the first time, as long as I could remember, I wasn't anywhere other than where I was. I was just a man sitting under a tree, 2 days sober, on his birthday, on the day after Easter, with almost, you can't even make this up, it's wild, with almost nothing, yet at the same time, everything. That is where the resurrection lives. Not when everything is going well, but at the edge, at the place where there is nothing left to hold on to. So here's what I want to return to. Here's how I'd like to return this back on us. It's easy to look at other people who rejected Jesus, the Pharisees, the priests, the officials, and feel like we would have been different, like we would have recognized him. But here's the real question. Where are we currently rejecting what is true? Where are we so attached to our version of things that we can't recognize the truth when it shows up in a form we didn't anticipate? The Pharisees were not villains. They were devout, serious people who had given their lives to what they believed was true. They just could not let that go long enough to receive what was being offered to them. And that pattern does not belong only to them. That pattern lives in every one of us today. And a significant portion of us right now are waiting for a return, waiting for a rescuer, waiting for the right moment, the right sign, the right circumstances before it is finally safe to be fully alive. But waiting is often the most sophisticated form of avoidance available to us. Trust me, I did it for a long time. Sounds good, but doesn't work. As long as you're waiting, you're not yet responsible for yourself. You're just waiting for the conditions to be right. And that becomes a really easy excuse not to act. If I had stayed in that field waiting for the system to show up for me, I don't know where I would be right now. I probably do know where I would be right now, and it wouldn't be a good place. But at some point, the waiting became more dangerous than the deciding. And I decided. Not with everything figured out, not with certainty, not with any guarantee, but just allowing myself to fall into the unknown, trusting that it was going to catch me. In the dark, in a hotel room, with 2 days sober, that is, I believe, what the second coming actually means. Not a figure descending from the sky to sort everything out while we watch, but a threshold, a moment in human consciousness And in individual human lives, when we stop outsourcing our transformation and start embodying it, taking responsibility for it ourselves, when the Christ, the anointed one, the fully alive human being, stops being something we worship from a distance and starts becoming something that we become, that is the return. And it does not require a date on the calendar. It simply requires a decision. So let me close here. If Christ returned today in the form that truth actually takes for you right now, would you recognize him? Or would he challenge something you're not ready to let go of? Would he show up in a form that you were expecting? Or would he show up in a field, in a crisis, in a stripped down, nothing left to perform moment you've been doing everything you can avoid? What in you is ready to die? Not as a morbid exercise, but as genuine, loving inventory. What performance, what protection, what carefully constructed story about who you are is it time to set free? Because that letting go is the cross, and it is available to you right now, not in some future moment when you're more ready, but now. And what comes after, what emerges from the genuine death of what is not true about you, is the resurrection. I cannot tell you exactly what that will feel like for you, but I can tell you what it felt like for me. It felt like a latte on a birthday morning. It felt like a massive old tree that wasn't moving for anything. It felt like 2 days sober and more alive than I had been in years. It felt like my name being spoken by someone who knew exactly where I was. It felt like being found. And I want that for you. Not as a concept, not as a theology, but in your body, in your life, in whatever field you find yourself sitting in. The return isn't coming. It is here. The only question is whether you're ready to stop waiting for it and recognize it. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Guru Om. Amen. Aho. Ashe. And so it is. Christopher will now lead us in a guided meditation to embody this teaching. Thank you.
So let's find our way to stillness, letting the eyes close if that feels natural. Taking a slow breath in and a longer exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. One more time. Letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. No need to control it, just notice it moving. The rise, the fall, and the space in between. Feeling the weight of your body, the seat beneath you, the ground beneath that. Nothing to hold, nothing to manage, just here. Now bring your awareness gently into the body, into your chest, the heart space. Not a thought about it. The actual sensation. What's here right now in your heart space? No need to name it. No need to change it. Just notice. Now I want to invite you to let something come closer. Something in your life right now that you've been holding just a little distance from. Could be a truth, a feeling, or a knowing. Allow that to come closer. Not to analyze and not to fix, just to be with. Take a slow breath in and let that move into your body. And exhale without pushing anything away. Again, inhale, I am here. And exhale, I'm not leaving. Feel into the place in your life where you are being asked to remain. Not to solve, not to understand, just to stay. And now notice what in you is ready to fall away. A performance, a protection, maybe a version of yourself that is no longer true. You don't have to force it. Just see it. And allow it to soften. Take a deeper breath in now. And as you exhale, let that version of you release. Not rejected, not judged, just complete. And now feel what remains. Not what you think and not what you've been told, but what is actually here. Asking yourself quietly, what is real in me right now? And let whatever rises be seen. Now feel the body again, the breath, the space around you, the aliveness in your hands, your chest, your face, and take a full breath in and a slow, complete exhale. And gently, when you're ready, coming back into the body, letting your eyes open and coming back to this place. You don't need to do anything with this. Just carry it with you. Because what is real goes where we go. Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome back, everyone. Let's move into our offering, which Aeon will lead us in today.
Thank you. That was great. All right, everyone. Before we close today, we want to take a moment for offering. At Merkaba Temple, we don't place a barrier between you and this space, but we do believe in right exchange. If this space supports you, if it meets you in something real, we invite you to give. not from pressure, not from obligation, but from alignment, from the understanding that what you receive, you also help sustain. You can give at merkabatemple.com/donate, or take out your phone, go to Venmo, and type in at Merkaba Temple, all one word. Your offering supports this temple, these gatherings, and the work we are building together. And more than that, it becomes a practice of devotion, a way of relating to life from wholeness, not from lack. When you give from that place, you begin to live differently. So take a moment, feel what's true for you, and give from there. While you're taking out your phones and making your offerings, Christopher will share with us what's rising in the temple, and it's super exciting.
Okay, everyone. So here are a few announcements before we close. First, we would like to congratulate our sister C, who is here with us this week at ArcherShaw Temple in Puerto Vallarta for her private one-on-one immersion. She has tonight as her last night and will be going home tomorrow. And this has been such an incredible week for us, to be able to serve this incredible woman and to see her grow in ways that traditional therapy just doesn't do. It's just amazing, right? The growth that happens in 5 days. She's here with us for only 6 days, and wow. I hope soon she'll share with us a little bit about that, maybe in the coming weeks, but we'll definitely share her testimonial when she has that available for us. So if you want what she has, it is available to you. And it is available in the good old USA this summer. We will be in Evergreen, Colorado for 2 summer immersion retreats designed for deep reset, clarity, and realignment. So you have no excuse that you're not coming to Mexico because you think you're going to get killed, which does not happen, but you can come to Colorado where you're probably not going to get killed either. One of the retreats is in June and the other is in August. So if you've been feeling the call to work with us, this is such a powerful opportunity to step into our field.
We're also booking private and couples immersions, 3-day, 5-day, and 7-day experiences right here at ArcherShaw Temple in Puerto Vallarta. These are highly personalized containers for deep transformation, reset, and integration. If you're ready to go deeper, this is where we do that work. And from April through October is low season here, which means really affordable flights. So what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Are you ready for freedom? If you are, we are ready for you. And if you have questions about any of this, right? Because sometimes people have questions, but they don't really want to ask us because I guess they feel like we're going to sell them something, or I don't know. But you know what? You don't have to ask us because we have a number of Merkaba Retreats alumni that would love to share with you about their experience here. So if you'd like to talk to one of them, reach out to us and we'll connect you. So thank you, family, for being with us here today on Easter Sunday. Let us close in prayer. Divine light in us, through us, and as us. We close this space, but not the work. On this day of resurrection, anchor us in what is real. Where we have been performing, bring us back to truth. Where we have been waiting, bring us into readiness. Where we have been avoiding, give us the courage to remain. Teach us what it means to live this, not as belief, but as embodiment. The willingness to let what is not true fall away, and the strength to stay present as it does, and the trust that what is real in us cannot be lost. As the old dissolves and something more honest emerges, steady us, so we do not reach back for what is familiar when something true is being born. And in the spirit of Christos Ananda, Christ, not as something distant, but as something alive within us, remind us that the return is not coming. It is right here, right now. Let us recognize it, let us live it, and let us become it. We place this community, this path, and this moment into your care.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. And as we do every week, let us seal today's service by singing the Longtime Sun and Sat Nam. The words can be found in the chat.
The long-time sun
Shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May your long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May your long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Key change. Guide your way on. Satnam, everybody. Truth is our identity. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. One more time. Satnam, everybody.
Satnam, Satnam. Thank you so much.
All right, beloved family, thank you for being with us today on this Easter. Thank you for your presence, your breath, your open-mindedness, and your dedication to our beautiful community. A deep gratitude to our Horizon Council, Roy, Jacob, and Sapphire for holding this field with such steadiness, devotion, and integrity each week. Your service strengthens this temple more than you know. And as we close, you are warmly invited to stay for fellowship if you are able, to connect, to share, to be together. And if you need to go, know that you remain connected to this temple, to this community, and to the living current that moves through all of us. So, walk in light, walk in love, and remember, we are all one. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. All right, everyone, give us a moment.